So today we are going to be making a pinch pot creature, and this creature can be based off of something real, living, prehistoric, or completely made up, okay? So you're gonna have like a little pinch pot, you can form a mouth, you have eyes, ears, things like that, but it's just gonna be its head. So this is a one-day project. You're gonna need some slip water for your table, your own tools, and then of course your clay and a paper towel. So the first thing we're gonna do to make a pinch pot is we're gonna make a ball. So some people like to roll the ball on here. Some people like to pack it like they're packing a snowball. Okay, if you have any big creases, you might wanna kind of smooth those out, but little creases like that, I just leave, okay? Because you're gonna be making creases anyways when you're making the pinch pot. So this is a good enough ball, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're gonna take your thumb and you're gonna press it in, okay? Not all the way through, but just in to start it, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pinch our fingers and thumb together, which makes it a pinch pot. So we're gonna pinch and then turn the clay, pinch and turn the clay. And you're gonna do that all the way around your little pot. And what you can do is while you're doing this, you're feeling the walls. And the idea is to keep the walls even, okay? Even walls means that when it's drying out, it's gonna dry out evenly, and then there's less cracks and breakage and all that. So my walls feel pretty good. And you can see that's why it doesn't have to be perfect. I can see my finger marks. And then what I can do too to kind of get rid of some of those is if you just lay it on the table and then kind of turn it and press a little section at a time, then the actual table will smooth out some of those unwanted areas. Okay, so you can see how it kind of smooths it out, and you can turn it over and smooth it out. And I try to do as much smoothing without water, because sometimes if you get so much water, it becomes really fragile and it doesn't hold itself up. So try to do most of the smoothing without. And then once you have little cracks like that, then that's when you will use your slip water. And when you do this, you want to kind of rub it in, kind of like you're rubbing in lotion on dry skin. It's the same kind of deal with the clay. And I'm going to kind of go around all around here just to make sure everything is sticking together, no cracks, because you know if you have cracks, it can become super sharp. Now, you see how that's shiny? You don't want it to be shiny like that. You have to rub it in. If you leave it like that, what will happen will be it's going to erode, okay? And it'll cause more cracking and breakage in the future. So you have to rub it in, okay? So I've got it nice and smooth, and I can kind of even this out a little bit just by smoothing my hand around there. And then you can decide on what kind of mouth you want it to be. You can have it open like this. You can have it open like that. I think it's kind of fun like this. So that's gonna be my mouth. Maybe I can have teeth and all that. And then I'm gonna show you how to make an eye and a fin, if that's what you wanted. So when you make eyes, first of all, I like to roll out my balls before I even attach them, just to make sure that they are even. So you can see that one's a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna pinch off a little bit of that clay. Okay, so pretty even. Then you decide where you want it to be. So you can have it on the outside, the inside, way back here, inside, I don't know, I kind of like it on the inside right here. Okay, so before I attach them, I'm gonna score. Okay, so this is kind of like little X's or hashtags. It's gonna kind of rough up your clay so they're gonna attach. If you just stick it on, it will fall off. It may stay for a few hours, but it will fall off eventually. So then I'm gonna place a little bit of the slip water on here. This is like the glue, just kind of tapping a little bit on. Then I'm gonna place one here. I'm doing two at the same time. Normally I do one at a time, but since they're gonna be side by side, I wanna make sure I have them centered. And you see how I'm kind of wiggling it? And I'm wiggling it, so what's gonna happen is those areas are gonna kind of lock together. Make sure I check that, okay, that's on there. Now I'm gonna smooth it out. You only have to smooth out one side technically, but you wanna blend it into your pot The reason being it will attach itself and become one with the pot. Now I'm gonna use a little bit of water. So notice I always smooth it out first, try to blend it in first without the water, then I add it. Okay, then you can take your little tool here if you want to keep smoothing things out. Okay, right in there. And then I could add a little eyeball like the iris by just kind of twisting a tool around. And then you see these little dots there? They don't look like much now, but those can become super sharp. So you want to make sure you always smooth those out so that you don't touch your project next week and then cut yourself. Because right now it's really soft, it's pliable, it's easy to work with, and next week it's gonna be bisqueware because it's gonna be fired in the kiln, so it's gonna be like glass. So I've got my little eyes here. If I had like a fin or like mohawk or anything like that, I can take this clay. I generally like to roll things out in a ball first, then I can kind of flatten it out. Not too thin, because if it gets really thin, it becomes super, super fragile, and we don't want it to be too fragile. Okay, and you can kind of create this shape you want. You could cut out pieces. Let's say it wasn't getting my shape right. I can kind of trim that so it's a little bit easier. Then this can become, that could be ears. This could be, like I said, a mohawk or fin. I kind of like the mohawk fin idea. So I'm going to set mine right there. I want to score it. Okay, score that. A little bit of my slip water on there. Set that right on top, give it a little wiggle. Okay, and I kind of have to hold it a little differently. And then see how my left hand's kind of supporting it? If I were just to push this down, it could pop off. So I want to always support it so it doesn't fall. Then I'm going to turn it the other way here. My left hand supporting it. So it makes it stronger. This bottom piece here, maybe I'm going to use this tool because my finger doesn't fit in there. And this top area, I'm just kind of using the tool again. Okay, and then I could use a little bit of that water to smooth things out. You can make impressions in here. You can make it look like it's kind of bent. Almost like a pie crust. It just gives it some added interest. Why not? There's no wrong way to do this. The only thing is you want to smooth out areas like that just so it's nice and even. And I could be done with it just like this. And then the last thing I'll do is get my stamps. And I'm going to stamp my first initial, my last initial, and then you'll set it on the counter to dry. So that's all we're going to be working on today, and we're going to make the clay project using the pinch pot method, and then next week we'll paint.